The first £100,000 takes roughly 7 to 8 years to build. The second 100,000 takes about 5 years. The third takes under 4 years. And the fourth one takes about 3 years. With the same person making same contributions in the same investment. But each milestone arrives faster than the one before it. There is a specific reason this happens. And there is a specific moment where your money starts earning more money every month than you actually put in. Most people quit investing before they ever reach that moment. I went from £30,000 in debt to owning a home worth nearly £300,000. I haven't hit £100,000 in investments yet. I'm building towards it right now. But the maths behind why that number changes everything is something I wish I had understood a decade ago. Because if I had started investing at 20 instead of waiting until my late 20s, the compounding I missed can never be recovered. That is the real cost of not understanding what I'm about to show you. Let me show you the actual numbers so you can see exactly why the first £100,000 is the hardest part of the entire journey. Most people expect investing to feel exciting from the start. They put in £200 a month and check their balance after 6 months expecting to see real progress. What they see is roughly £1,300 of their own money. That does not feel life-changing. That does not feel like building wealth. So they think investing does not work and they stop. Here is what is actually happening during those early years. I call this the slow phase. And it is the part of the journey that kills most people's momentum. When you are building from zero to £100,000, roughly 70% of that balance is money you personally contributed. Only about 30% comes from investments growth. That means you are doing most of the heavy lifting yourself, and it feels like the market is barely helping. Think of it like pushing a heavy boulder uphill. At the bottom, you are doing almost all the work. The boulder is barely rolling on its own. You push, and the progress feels painfully slow. But every meter you push it higher, gravity starts helping a little more. By the time you reach the top of the hill, the boulder is rolling on its own, and you are just guiding it. That hilltop is £100,000, and the reason most people never reach it is because they stop pushing while they are still at the bottom. Let me put real numbers on this so you can see the timeline. If you invest £10,000 a year at 7% average return, the first £100,000 takes roughly 7 to 8 years. During those 8 years, you contributed about £78,000 of your own money. The remaining £22,000 came from growth. Your money only did about 30% of the work in those first 8 years. That is why it feels so slow. You are earning interest on small numbers, and small interest on small numbers is still a small number. But this is where it gets interesting, because after £100,000, the math changes everything. Using those same numbers, £10,000 a year at 7%, here is how long each £100,000 takes after the first. The first £100,000 takes roughly 7 to 8 years. The second £100,000 takes about 5 years. The third takes just under 4 years. The fourth takes about 3 years. And the fifth takes roughly 2.5 years. Same person doing the same job and making same contributions every single year. But each £100,000 arrives faster than the one before it. I call this the acceleration curve. The total journey from zero to £1 million takes roughly 30 years at this pace. But here's the part that shocks the most people. The first £100,000 takes about 25% of the total time. The remaining £900,000 happens in the other 75%. From £600,000 to £1 million, the final £400,000 takes less time than your very first £100,000 did. This is not motivation, this is pure maths. The question is, what actually causes this acceleration? And the answer comes down to one specific moment that I call the contribution flip. This is a concept that changed how I think about investing entirely. Most people think wealth is built by saving more money. They think the person who puts in the most wins. That is true at the beginning when your balance is small. Your contributions are everything. But there is a crossover point where your investment returns start earning more each year than you are actually contributing yourself. I call this the contribution flip. Here is when it happens. If you are investing £10,000 a year at 7%, the contribution flip happens when your portfolio reaches roughly £140,000. At that point, 7% of £140,000 is £9,800, nearly as much as you put in that year. From that moment forward, your money is doing as much work as you are, and as the balance keeps growing, the gap widens quickly. At £200,000, your annual return is £14,000, while you are still contributing £10,000. Your money is now earning 40% more than you're actually putting in. At £500,000, your annual return is £35,000. 3.5 times your contribution. The money is doing the vast majority of work by that point. You are just adding fuel. The engine is compound interest. It's like hiring an employee who works for free. In first few years, this employee is slow and barely productive. But you cannot fire them because their productivity doubles every few years. By year 10, they are out earning you. By year 20, they are earning 3 times what you make. That employee is your invested money. And the contribution flip is the moment they start outperforming you. Now that is the maths, but there is a second shift that happens at £100,000 that the numbers alone do not capture. It happens inside your head, and it is just as powerful. Let me pause here for a second. You now understand the slow phase and why the first £100,000 feels like pushing a boulder uphill. You have seen the acceleration curve and how each £100,000 arrives faster than the last. And you understand the contribution flip, the specific moment your money starts earning more than you put in. These are the first 3 steps of 100K blueprint. But remember what I said at the start? Most people quit before they ever reach this point. The question is why, and what changes psychologically when you actually get there. That is what the second half of this video is about. And it might be more important than the maths. Everything up to now was numbers. What comes next is what those numbers do to the way you think about money. Most people think reaching £100,000 is just a number on a screen, a milestone you tick off and move on from. It's not just a number, it changes how you make decisions. Here is what actually shifts in your thinking when you cross £100,000. First, you stop panicking when the market drops. When your portfolio is £5,000 and the market drops 20%, you lose £1,000. It feels devastating. When your portfolio is £100,000 and the market drops 20%, you lose £20,000 on paper. But by that point, you have seen enough recoveries to know it comes back. You have lived through dips and watched the balance recover every time. That experience builds patience that no amount of reading or watching videos can give you. Second, you stop thinking about money as something you spend. You start thinking about it as something that works. Every pound you spend is not just gone. It is a pound that is no longer compounding. £100 spent today is not £100 lost. It's over £1,700 lost over 30 years. That shift in thinking does not happen at 5,000 or even 50,000. It happens when the numbers are large enough and the opportunity cost becomes real in your head. Third, you stop being scared of money. For years, I had a complicated relationship with money. It was something I never had enough of, something that caused stress, something that felt out of my control. Crossing meaningful financial milestone changes that completely. You start to feel like money is a tool you can actually use instead of a problem you are always reacting to. The maths creates the acceleration, but the mindset shift is what stops you from sabotaging it. Now let me show you exactly how to reach £100,000 as fast as possible. Most people try to reach £100,000 by chasing higher returns. They think they need to find the perfect stock or the perfect moment to invest. That approach wastes time and usually loses money. In the slow phase, your saving rate matters far more than your investment returns. Here is the proof why that matters so much. Increasing your investment return from 7 to 10% only shaves about 6 months of the time it takes to reach £100,000. But doubling your monthly contribution cuts years off the timeline. At the start, the single most powerful thing you can do is invest more, not invest better. Here are 4 specific ways to get there faster. 1. Increase your contributions every time your income goes up. If you get a pay rise of £200 a month, do not upgrade your lifestyle. Send that entire £200 straight into your investments. Your lifestyle stays the same, but your timeline to £100,000 shrinks dramatically. 2. Automate everything so consistency is not optional. Set up an automatic monthly investment on payday so the money leaves before you can touch it. So you don't have to rely on willpower, you don't have to rely on motivation. The system runs by itself. 3. Cut one major expense instead of 10 small ones. Moving to cheaper rent saves you more than cancelling 5 subscriptions. Buying a car for cash instead of financing saves you thousands in interest. Find the big lever and pull it. 4. Never withdraw from your investments unless it is a genuine emergency. Every time you pull money out, you reset the compounding clock on that amount. I made this mistake multiple times. I invested, then withdrew when I needed money, then started again from the lower base. Every withdrawal cost me months of future growth that I can never recover. If I had understood this at 20, I would not have spent years going backwards. I lost money on crypto. I pulled out my investments when I needed cash. I let lifestyle inflation eat my pay rises. Every one of those decisions pushed my 100K milestone further away. I'm building towards it right now, and the math is working exactly the way I just showed you. The slow phase is real. It is genuinely hard. But every month you stay consistent is a month closer to the contribution flip. There is something I'm working on for a future video that connects to acceleration we talked about today. What happens to your money between £100,000 and £1 million, and why most of the journey is spent in the final stretch. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. Now let me pull the whole picture together so you can see the complete journey from zero to the tipping point. At the start of this video, I told you there is a specific moment where your money starts earning more than you put in. Now you know exactly when that happens. It is called the contribution flip, and it typically occurs somewhere around £140,000 mark at 7% return. From that point forward, your investments are doing more of the work than you are, and the further past £100,000 you go, the faster everything accelerates. Here's the 100k blueprint one final time. The slow phase is the hardest part of the journey. From zero to £100,000, roughly 70% of the balance is money you personally contributed. Growth is there, but it is quiet. This is where most people quit. The acceleration curve kicks in after £100,000. Each subsequent 100,000 takes less time than the one before. Same contributions, same returns, but the balance grows faster because compound interest now has enough fuel. The contribution flip is the crossover point. Once your annual return exceeds your annual contributions, your money is doing more work than you are. From that point, the engine runs itself. The patience taxes what it costs you to quit before reaching the tipping point. Every year you delay or withdraw is a year of compounding you cannot recover. And here's one bonus. Your journey from £600,000 to £1 million takes less time than the journey from zero to £100,000. The hardest part of becoming a millionaire is very beginning, and you are in it right now. Just keep the automation running and give the maths enough time to do its job. Now, if you have not started investing yet and you want to see exactly how to set it up step by step, I made a video on that. From opening the app to buying your first index fund and setting up automation, so you never have to think about it. It's a good one. That video is right here. Before you click on it, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. I make videos like this every single week. I'll see you in the next one.